Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me and my incredibly square jawline. So I was sitting around watching Breaking Points the other day because I'm a complete and total nerd. And I saw an interview with Joe Kent. And he had some really crazy things to say. And it reminded me of an interview. He was what was it? He was like in charge of counterterrorism for the whole freaking country. I think he directly reported to Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence. So a big deal. And he resigned over the Iran war and did kind of like a podcast circuit. And so I heard him on, whatever big platform he was on. He had some crazy things to say about Butler specifically, the first attempt on Trump's life. And I'd kind of forgotten about it. And then over the weekend, there was like the third attempt on Trump's life, and it sort of brought it all back. And then I saw him on Breaking Points talking about exactly that thing. And so we've got to watch it. If you've never seen this YouTube channel, it's awesome. It's called Breaking Points. It's Crystal and Sagar. This is Sagar. I love this guy. It's an incredible show. I think they do a podcast. They put all their feed into a podcast also. Let's hear Sagar and Joe Kent. Actually, hang on. I had Claude. Thank you, Claude. I had Claude prepare some notes. Ooh, look at that. Man, you guys see that? All right, this is the link that Claude gave me for Joe Kent's credentials. President Trump's director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, announced his immediate resignation Tuesday, citing the decision to begin a war against Iran when Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Damn, Joe. Okay, let's see. Kent was nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. He said he cannot support sending... Oh, man. Got a hair on my tongue. He cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. That's some heavy shit. Okay, hang on. Claude promised me that this was his credentials, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, come on. All right, fine. I'm going to Google it on my own. Joe Kent. Jeez, look at that headshot. That's amazing. All right, let's see what Wikipedia has to say. Oh, even better. Official portrait, 2025. Joseph Clay Kent, born in 1980. That's a good year to be born. American politician, former U.S. Army warrant officer, and former CIA, paramilitary officer. Kent enlisted in the 75th Ranger Regiment and applied for the Special Forces before the September 11 attacks. He served 11 combat tours, mainly in Iraq, and retired in 2018, and he went to work for the CIA. Oh, God, this is terrible. In January of 2019, Kent's wife, Shannon, was killed in a suicide bombing in, I don't know how to say that, in Syria. God, that's awful. He became involved in political advocacy after Shannon's death. Okay. Jesus, I knew that, but I forgot about that. That's awful. So, that's Joe Kent. Let's just call him an all-American badass. Let's see, Green Beret, 75th Ranger Regiment. I thought they were called battalions. I got a buddy that was in the Rangers. I should ask him. Okay, so we'll just call him a American hero. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Back to Sagar. All right, let's see what Joe has to say. This is about the most recent one of several attempts on Trump's life.
Joining us now is Joe Kent, the former National Counterterrorism Director, who has long sounded alarms about the president's security barriers and is asking a lot of questions about the shooting. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with this. This was perhaps the most noteworthy part of the manifesto. Let's put it up here on the screen, which was released by Cole Allen, allegedly sent to his family. He says, okay, now all that sappy stuff.
Oh my God, one of my friends looks just like this guy.
By Cole Allen, allegedly.
I swear if I just glance at that picture, it's one of my buddies.
Sent to his family. He says, okay, now all that sappy stuff is done. What the hell is the Secret Service doing? Sorry, gonna rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. I expected security cameras at every bend, hubbubed hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got, who knows, maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. No damn security, not in transport, not in the hotel, not in the event. He even muses at one point that he could have been an Iranian trying to attack Trump with some full-on weapon. This highlight.
Wouldn't that be crazy? I could have been some crazy Iranian guy trying to kill the president, but it turns out I'm just a normal guy trying to kill the president.
A breach of the president's security perimeter, something that you highlighted after you left the administration. How are you assessing this news right now, Joe?
How are you, with your incredibly chiseled jawline, assessing this situation, Joe?
This is just obviously a third breach that we've had since President Trump was back on the campaign trail, where an assailant got within the president's perimeter with a long gun. So he got in there with a shotgun. I think you're right. The most interesting part of that manifesto is when he even comments himself, which I guess he was updating somewhat before the event, kind of almost in real time, where he is even amazed that he made it that far. We had obvious breaches that led up to Butler, West Palm Beach, and these issues haven't been addressed. And then since then, we had multiple breaches of President Trump's perimeter at the UN. We had the incident at the restaurant in Washington, D.C., the incident where the police officer armed came up and shook the president's hand. So
okay, I didn't know anything about this one until he said it, and I looked it up. I don't know if I could find the link. This crazy guy, I think he is a New York police officer, NYPD. I don't know the full story, but it's something to the effect of he dressed up in full tactical gear and kind of like blended in with the president's security team, whatever they're called. And then eventually wound up just sort of like walking up to him and shaking his hand before everyone's like, who the fuck is that guy? So I don't know what's going on with the security team. You just kind of, well, it's like the guy said. It's like the I was going to back it up, but I don't want to lose my place. The first guy, the third guy that just tried to kill the president, he was amazed at how lax the security was. And I'm amazed too. I think pretty much everyone just assumes that the freaking CIA and FBI and Secret Service and all those guys are just like on top of their game when it comes to the president. I mean, that's what the movies make it seem like.
So these have been noted. While I was in the administration, we had members of the Secret Service that had mentioned that they had very big concerns about the president's security. The DHS Inspector General, who was looking into Butler, he has been blocked by the top leadership in DHS and potentially even higher. So,
ooh, okay. So there's more stuff I want to get to with what he says, but just right off the bat, he said that the Inspector General, he said the DHS IG, so the Inspector General for the Department of Homeland Security, was blocked in his investigation into the Butler, the Butler assassination attempt. So let's look into that. Let's see what Claude got us. Let's see. I know there's some. Oh, the blocked investigation. Here we go. All right, the last one, the last link wasn't awesome, but we're gonna see We're going to see how Claude did this time. The Department of Homeland Security Inspector General said Kristi Noem's DHS had systematically obstructed his team's investigations, including a probe into the Secret Service's failures involving the assassination attempt in Butler. Noem was fired by Trump on Thursday. Okay, so the I don't think her getting fired had anything to do with Butler. Maybe with her shooting a puppy in the face. Is that true? That's what they said on South Park. which the South Park episodes about her are hilarious. Let's see. The Inspector General, Joseph Kufari, alleged in a letter to Congress, wow, he actually wrote Congress about this, that his team was denied access to a highly compartmentalized intelligence program essential to uncovering what went wrong with the Secret Service's performance. Wow. That's kind of weird. Okay, so the people that are investigating it weren't allowed to investigate it.
This just speaks to the fact that we have a clear problem here that is not being addressed. I mean, they can go and say that the guys on the inside perimeter near the president did a good job. It appears that they did, but these issues have not been addressed now for several years. And the fact that they haven't been addressed leads to more and more questions.
Okay, so I fast forwarded a tiny bit, and this is just like another instance. Gunman near White House eluded Secret Service 2 weeks before a dinner shooting. I guess diner has one N. Diner shooting? Dinner. Fuck. Anyways, something else happened like a couple weeks before. So this is basically Crystal was reading this article, and she's going to ask Joe.
Tell you, and obviously every president faces significant threats on their life. Between the three of us in this segment, I think we all have a variety of views about President Trump. I think we would all agree that he's fairly
Crystal fucking hates him.
divisive figure. So I guess, unfortunately, it's not a surprise that there would be, attempts of violence against him. But have we seen these types of failures in previous administrations?
Not that I know of. And like you said, there's been more threats against President Trump. He is a divisive figure. And we had Butler, we had West Palm Beach, we had people getting shots off at the president. He's alive, just by the grace of God. And so for there to continue to be these issues, again, that screams that we have a systemic failure here. And why is the failure being tolerated?
That's okay. That's weird because like this guy. He obviously has a military background, and he was the director of national, there it is, former director of National Counterterrorism. So he's gonna know, right? And so she asked him, well, are there other examples of this? And he's like, no, not really. Now, okay, granted, Trump is a maniac. You either love him or you hate him with a passion. There's not many people in between. So I get that. I mean, so he's incredibly divisive. But I don't know. There seems to be something else going on here. And that's exactly what this guy is saying. It's not just me saying that or some wacky conspiracy theorist. Like, this is an important dude with a very, very serious background. Wait till you hear what else he says.
Failure here, and why is the failure being tolerated? I think that's one of the questions that the American people deserve the answers to, and President Trump, frankly, deserves those answers as well, and so does his family. I just have a hard time believing that we continue to have these
Well, okay, so I just feel like I have to point out that weirdly, Trump doesn't really talk about these things. I mean, there's a lot of weird things about what happened in Butler, and then even what the most recent one at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It just seems kind of weird, but he doesn't talk about it at all. We'll get into that more, but he talks about everything. He has a theory for everything, and he loves to bring up old grudges and stuff. He doesn't talk about these attempts on his
breach within
life.
his security perimeter. The incident that you just pointed out, that's a very heavily surveilled area of Washington, D.C. Any one of these incidents, like in isolation, you could say general incompetence, circumstances just led to this event unfolding this way. But this continues to happen. And if we don't step in and take drastic action right now, I'm afraid a tragedy will strike.
But Joe, it's connected bigger. This is why I want to talk to you.
Okay, here we go. Okay, we're about to get into the good stuff. So let's just break this down so far. Basically, we've had 3, well, probably more than that, but 3 definite attempts on the president's life, and all of them look kind of weird. And then now you have the former director of National Counterterrorism. That is so hard to say. In saying this all over the internet, basically all the big talk shows he can get. It was Tucker Carlson he was on, and of course now he's on Breaking Points. It's a huge show, and he's basically sounding the alarm. He says something's not right, and so now it's taken a few minutes, but we're finally getting into like the meat and potatoes. This is where the episode really gets juicy. So
You have long connected the breaches in Trump's security to the decision to go to war with Iran. And, I know that you speak and you choose your words very carefully, but you got to lay that out for people, because in the aftermath of this and this more recent attack, does that more confirm what you're trying to say and make very specific, like what you're alleging whenever it comes to those breaches in his security?
Okay, I'm gonna sorry. So I was adjusting my chair and it made a big squeaky noise. I don't know if you could hear it, but I heard it big time. Okay, so what Sagar just said is basically, hey, you've been saying this for a while now, that there's a connection between these attempts on the president's life and the war in Iran. That's insane. That's an absurd thing to say. That sounds like some guy in his basement would be saying that. But no, it's actually some guy that was basically running our counterterrorism apparatus. I don't know what you call it. Let's see. So that I want to point that out. This is a big deal. This is an incredibly big deal.
I really don't want to come to this conclusion. However, if you look at the breaches in the security, the attempts on President Trump's life, and you put that on the timeline of how we've made key decisions, you can't help but ignore it. I'm not saying it's 100% driving all the decisions that are being made, but President Trump is facing very critical choices right now in the war in Iran, and you have an incident like this. Something else that really I think can't be overlooked. There is a lot of radical political violence right now. There is a pool of very radicalized folks on the left who have been told for years that President Trump is a Nazi. That rhetoric cranks things up and it radicalizes individuals, but that also gives intelligence agencies or other organizations a very ripe pool from which to recruit from.
Whoa. Okay. So I just want to break down what he's saying, because I almost can't believe he's saying it. I don't think he's wrong, by the way, but I just can't believe that he's just broadcasting this all over the world. He just said, look, Trump, because of who he is and because of the the things he does, the political opposition, the attacks on him, whatever. I don't like rightly, wrongly, I don't care. Like politics, I don't have any good opinion of any politician. So I don't really have a dog in this fight. There's no party that I identify with, but he's very divisive, and he has been demonized for years as a Nazi and all these different horrible things. And what Joe Kent is saying is that there is a large group of people that have been radicalized in this country that essentially become like a candidate pool for intelligence agencies and other institutions. Think about that. What is he saying? A candidate for what? I mean, we're talking Manchurian Candidate. Am I saying that right? Denzel. Yeah, the Manchurian Candidate. That was a badass movie. What did he do? Does it matter? And Denzel's just like, smokes. Okay, if you haven't seen the movie, you got to go see the movie. It's crazy. It's crazy. In the movie, they're breaking his mind, and then there's some poor bastard with a bag on his head, and they just give him this gun, and he's in this like room, this crazy looking room, and they're just like, yeah, man, just shoot him in the head. Yeah, of course, that's what you do. Yeah, right? Because they were training him to be a Manchurian candidate. That's what fucking Joe Kent's talking about. I'm going to back it up. Hang on. Because that's just, I've listened to this a bunch of times. Let's just let him say it again.
Trump is facing very critical choices right now in the war in Iran, and you have an incident like this. Something else that really I think can't be overlooked. There is a lot of radical political violence right now. There is a pool of very radicalized folks on the left who have been told for years that President Trump is a Nazi. That rhetoric cranks things up and it radicalizes individuals, but that also gives intelligence agencies or other organizations a very ripe pool from which to recruit from.
Oh my God, a ripe pool in which to recruit from. Okay. That's fucking insane. A ripe pool. Okay, the other thing is he said intelligence agencies and other organizations, and I really would love to know what he's talking about. Like, who really, or maybe I wouldn't love to know because they would probably fucking kill me. So maybe I don't want to know, but I do kind of want to know. Like, what is he talking about? What? Okay. It's like the whole idea. It's like the whole idea with Area 51 or the CIA or SEAL Team 6 or you name the thing. Like, I don't know anything about that stuff. I have no insider knowledge, but I've just always thought logically, if I've heard about it, then that's not even the real thing. I mean, I'm sure it's real, but that's not that's not the secret thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Area 51, if they have UFOs, that's where they are. It's like, well, yeah, maybe, but I mean, if I'm hearing about that, then there's a place with a name that no one's ever heard of. That's where the real deal is. So what he's talking about, these other organizations that would recruit from a pool of ripe candidates to, I don't know, reprogram their brain to have them kill the president?
So I just think we have a combination of factors right now that can't be overlooked, and it's time for someone to step in. I think the DHS IG and others within the government would be a good place to start, and just to take a look at everything that's taking place right now and why these failures continue to happen. But again, for those of us that are trying to assess why President Trump's making the decisions that he's making, I think it would be foolish for us to not take a look at everything that's taking place that could be providing some leverage on him driving his decisions.
Okay.
Oh my God, Sagar. He just said, okay. So many questions. I'm sorry, Joe. What do you mean intelligence agencies and other organizations? What are you talking about? How could he? Oh God, if I interviewed him, it would be like 9 hours long. I'd be like a toddler. Really? Why? Why? What else? Really? What? What do you mean by that? What does that mean? Other intelligence? Other organizations? Okay, so this is fucking crazy. Now, the one thing that I'm wondering about, okay, so let's just say he's right. Because, I mean, he's not even saying this is like for totally sure, but he's like, look, we have to look into this. Because he said, well, I don't want to think this, but I can't ignore the facts. So, okay, so if you think about the Iran war, we know for sure, because Netanyahu talks about it, that he's wanted this for 40 years. He tweeted this. Hang on. This is fucking hilarious. See if I can spell it. Benjamin. Oh, boom. Benjamin Netanyahu tweet 40 years. Oh, look at that. In March of 26, Benjamin Netanyahu stated he had waited 40 years to fulfill his goal of striking the Iranian regime, a mission he claimed to be realizing with U.S. support. This remark, often cited regarding his long-term goal of attacking Iran, was reiterated in March of 26 as strikes on Tehran intensified. Holy shit. Okay, so cool. All right, so that totally distracted me, but hang on. All right, so so this is my question. You got the Iran war. We hit them last year, the 12-day war. We're on like day 60 of a 3-day war currently. But if you look at, Netanyahu openly saying, yeah, I've wanted to do this for 40 years. Like, holy shit. Like, talk about planning. Like, what a planner. And talk about sticking to your goals. Whatever. That's terrible. But he did stick to it. But this has been around for a long time. So Trump is running for president in 2024, and they try to kill him in Butler. Okay, some people say it's fake. And they're like, no. He had a razor blade in his hand and he slapped his ear and he cut his ear like WWE. And granted, Trump, I think, didn't Trump actually host WWE one time? which just does not surprise me at all. I think that's true. So some people think it was fake. And some people think that it was real. Okay, they think that it was fake and that he was in on it and he cut himself in the ear. So like they didn't shoot, they shot near him. And of course that there was a poor guy that died shielding his family. He was a retired firefighter, I think. So I mean, they were shooting real bullets, but I guess the idea of that being fake was that they were on purpose not shooting anywhere near Trump, and that he cut his own ear for the iconic picture and all that, which it's hard to find pictures for thumbnails that aren't copywritten, and I don't want to get fined, and I don't know what to do. But we all saw the picture, and then I guess the other idea is that somehow that guy was so good with a gun that he nicked him in the ear on purpose. I find that very hard to believe. But whatever. So that happened in 2024 when he's not even president yet. And it's like a message. Hey, motherfucker, we're sending you a message. Okay, cool. I guess he got the message because, he gets into office and next thing you know, we're bombing the shit out of Iran. But then we are also bombing the shit out of Iran, and they try to kill him again like recently. It was over last weekend, so 4 or 5 days ago. So then why would they do that? I don't know. Or maybe he's like losing his stomach for this, because I have read articles where he's afraid he's going to basically be a worse president than Jimmy Carter. God rest your soul, Jimmy Carter. And so maybe he's thinking of pulling out, and we know Israel has no interest in us pulling out. They want us there. They need us there, embroiled in this war with Iran. So if he's thinking about pulling out, maybe they activate. Maybe they activate one of these guys, huh? And they're like, hey, go. But I mean, like, they would have to know that. Okay, so hang on. So if they activate him, and they're like, well, it's probably not going to work, but so they would just be like a message. Look what we did. Look, Donald, you're not going anywhere. No. Huh. So, but if it does work, there's like a low chance, but if it does work, then I guess that means that the next guy up, J.D. Vance, is on their side. I don't know, because I've heard that there's a rift between J.D. Vance and Jared Kushner and the other guy, the special envoy that they send him and Jared Kushner to negotiate with Iran. I've heard that Vance does not agree with them. So then if they kill Trump and then Vance moves in, what if he just comes in as president and then withdraws? So many questions.
So another thing that is odd to me is that we can put this Washington Post piece up on the screen. So first of all, just the number of cabinet officials that were at this dinner was pretty wild. I said earlier, if somebody had bombed the whole thing and everybody there, if you had the worst situation you can imagine, everybody there dies, you would have had Chuck Grassley as president of the United States. And yet
I struggle to think that he would do a worse job. Hang on. We got to see who the fuck Chuck Grassley is. Uh-oh. Charles E. Grassley. He's the president pro tempore of the U.S. Senate. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, that's a nice picture. He's like a nice old grandpa. Charles Ernest Grassley was born in 1933. He's an American politician. He's from Iowa. Holy shit. He's been in the Senate almost as long as I've been alive. Okay. Hang on. Let's just see. Chuck, I think you know where I'm going with this. Net worth. Oh, okay. That's disappointing. As of the latest available estimates, U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley's net worth is estimated to be around $6 million. His wealth is tied to agriculture, farmland. Oh. Previous reports from Open Secrets indicated a net worth of over $7.5 million. That's in 2018. Huh. It's ranked above average for members of the Senate. Nah, I think he's honestly falling a little behind. Was Nancy Pelosi? No, Nancy Pelosi was a congresswoman. She wasn't in the Senate. So, all right. So hey, you know what? Maybe we should. Maybe old Chuck wouldn't have been so bad. Oh, look at that. Grassley in 1979. He was born in September 1933. New Hartford, Iowa. His mom's name was Ruth. And Lewis. His dad's name was Lewis. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. His paternal grandparents, Gottlieb and Bertha, immigrated from Germany and used the last name Grassel. Gottlieb committed suicide by hanging in April of 1900. Oh, God, that's terrible. So he came from Germany. Oh, so sad. Sorry, Chuck. All right. Shit. Where were we?
It says in this article that the Trump administration provided a lower level of security for the White House Correspondents' Dinner than it has for other gatherings of high-ranking officials, even though the president and many cabinet members were in attendance. They go on to say, that Trump and Vance were both evacuated quickly to safety when a gunman charged the security perimeter. But it seems like the decision-making is just very strange here. And then you add to that, the thing that I've always, found, I was very persuaded that the official story that we got about the Butler assassination attempt was more or less correct. I didn't see any other indications otherwise. And to be honest with you, some of the things that you've said have given me pause there, just because it seems like you would want to really investigate, know who this guy was, know what motivated him, see if there's any, other people who he was connected to that we need to have our eye on, et cetera. And according to what you've said, there just wasn't that level of interest. And in fact, further investigation there was blocked.
Exactly. When we looked into Butler from the intelligence community perspective, we came across some things in terms of the confidential human source, the origin of the intelligence that gave us other questions that came to mind that we raised and were blocked by the FBI from looking into further. And then the DHS IG, who was not working with us, who was not coordinating with us, working a separate track to look at what took place on the ground in Butler specifically, like asking the most obvious question, how did crooks, breach the security perimeter and get up on the roof? He was blocked from that very aggressively internally by the DHS. And
Holy shit. Okay, even Crystal is climbing aboard the conspiracy train on this one. So I love that. Let's do a little deep dive. Let's see what Claude has for us. Okay. Let's see. Actually, I had Claude do a. Ooh, this is actually a summary of what happened in Butler. Okay, in July 13th, 2024, Trump is speaking at an outdoor campaign rally at the Butler Farm Show grounds in Butler County, Pennsylvania. A 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Bethel Park, PA, about 45 minutes south of Pittsburgh, climbs onto the roof of an AGR International building sitting just 130 meters from the stage. He fires 8 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle. One bullet grazes Trump's right ear. Rally attendee Corey Compertor, a 50-year-old former fire chief, is killed shielding his family. God, that is so terrible. I mean, what a way to go. So good on him. Ugh. Yeah, that's just terrible. And it, yeah, fucking horrible. Okay, so the former fire chief was killed. 2 others are critically wounded 16 seconds after Crooks opens fire. A Secret Service counter sniper kills him with a single shot to the head. Trump stands up, fist raised, mouthing "fight." Blood is visible on his ear and face. That's the picture that I was afraid to put on my thumbnail because I'm just a scaredy pants. I was going to say something else, but that's bad. I shouldn't say the P word. Okay. Timeline of the failures minute by minute. This is the part that's hard to explain away, says Claude, says my future robot overlord. Okay, July 7th, 6 days before the rally, Crooks drives to the Butler Farm Show grounds and spends 20 minutes walking the area. He scouts the building. Nobody notices or flags this. July 6th, the day he registers to attend the rally, Crooks searches how far away was Oswald from Kennedy. Oh, God. Okay. I did not expect that. I don't know. Well, everyone knows Oswald didn't do it, so he was probably wasting his time. Okay, July 12th, the day before, he goes to his shooting range to practice. He also buys 50 rounds of ammo and a ladder. You ever seen the YouTube videos that it shows that you can literally get access to anywhere if you're carrying a ladder? You should look that up. All right, let's see. Day of, 5 p.m. Crooks is photographed as a suspicious person by law enforcement. The image is shared. Nothing stops him. 5:52 p.m. Crooks is spotted on the ground with a fucking rangefinder. Oh, Claude even includes a helpful description. A tool used to calculate shooting distances. This is reported up the chain. Hey, Randy. Yeah, go ahead, Bob. Yeah, hey, Randy. There's a guy with a rangefinder pointing it at the president. Okay, I'll get back with you on that. 6 p.m. Snipers inside the AGR building spot Crooks on the roof and radio it in. Trump takes the stage 2 minutes later. Okay, so... Oh, God. Hang on. I want to get back to this. Hang on, but this is insane. Hang on. Let's see. I know I have... Okay, let's see. Let's see what Fox News has to say.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there.
Where?
Right there. See him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
No, I can't see him, man. The camera. Oh, that might have been me.
What's happening?
Okay, can you see that? It's pretty grainy. I never saw this. So basically, let's get back to our timeline because that's awesome. Okay, so let's see. 5 p.m. He's photographed by law enforcement. 5:52. He's spotted on the ground with a rangefinder. 6 p.m. Snipers inside the HER building spot crooks on the roof and radio it in. Trump takes the stage 2 minutes later. And even these guys, there's people on the ground that are not secret fucking service that are like, hey, you see him? He's right there. He's laying down. He's on the roof.
Yeah, look.
There he is.
Look, there he is. Oh, God, that you can actually see him. Dude, how did I? Wow, I never saw this.
Dangerous people.
This is worst camera guy ever. Pan up.
We have people that should not be here. It's much tougher than it happened to.
God, can you hear that? People are screaming. He's on the roof. He's standing up now. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on. I'm scrolling. Okay, now begins my expert analysis. On your left, you will see a building. I have no idea. This has to be the building. Actually, that would actually make sense. Man, I wish I had that program that made my mouse really big. But if you look, you can see I'm drawing a circle over and over and over again around this building. All right. I think that's where he was. And then dragging my mouse to the right. Oh, I went too far. Nope, that's the stage right there. Yeah. So I think that's that's what they were talking about. It's 130 yards. He's on the roof. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, look, this is look, I guess Claude maybe he was checking out Fox News too. Maybe God, is Claude like a closeted conservative? How far was Oswald from Kennedy? These are his searches. Where will Trump speak from at Butler Farm Show? How fucking incompetent are all the cops going to be at the Butler Farm Show? That's terrible. I mean, like okay, hang on. The snipers inside that same building spot crooks on the roof and radio it in, but no one thinks to challenge him? Like, what the fuck? Okay, there's something seriously wrong with, there has to be. I've been around these kind of things before, okay? And this is insane. This is absolutely insane for people to have pointed this out. And then it doesn't say which snipers, if they were Secret Service snipers or if they were like local police snipers, but when these things are set up, even if it's last minute, it's very simple. They identify all the places where the bombs could go and bring in bomb dogs to sniff all the things, and then typically they'll cover the trash cans, they'll turn them upside down, or they'll cover them and mark them like, hey, these have been checked. Nothing is left open. And then anywhere a sniper could get, they have someone covering it. They have a uniformed cop basically standing where you can access it. And if you're not where you're supposed to be, even if you're working the detail, if you're not where you're supposed to be, you can get your ass shot. Even if you're just like goofing off, like, hey, stand over there, and you just go wandering. This guy is literally, I'm going to try and play this again. Oh, a fucking ad. I can't do it. Okay, never mind. I'll reenact it. They're on the roof. He's on the roof. He's standing up. Okay, so that's my dramatic reenactment. I just completely lost where I was at. Okay, so let's see. Snipers see him on the building. They radio it in. 6:02 to 6:08, police lose sight of Crooks. 4 officers begin searching for him. One officer tries to pull himself up on the roof. Crooks points his rifle at the officer. The officer falls back, injuring his ankle. Fair. Okay, fair. He radios that Crook is armed. The message never reaches Trump's security detail. That's 6:02 to 6:08. 6:11 p.m., he fires 8 shots. 4 seconds later, a local officer hits Crook's rifle with a shot, disrupting him. 12 seconds after that, a Secret Service sniper kills him. Total time from first shot to Crooks' death is 16 seconds. Okay, this is... I remember when this happened, and I remember my middle son ran in the house. He was like, they just tried to kill well, he said the president, but I mean, it was, obviously he was not the president then, but he had been the president, but whatever, big deal. And I was like, what, are you serious? And so we turned on the TV and tried to find like some live coverage. And I was just like, I just kept telling my kids, I was like, you have to watch this because this is historic. Like when I was a kid, they shot Reagan. Well, I say the crazy guy shot Reagan, but hell, maybe it was the same other organizations that Joe Kent was talking about. That's historic, and so we were just glued to the news, and I was like, wow, this is so fucking crazy that they actually they tried to shoot him, or they did shoot him. Caught him in the ear, unless you believe the razor blade theory. But it was just crazy. It was just that has just not happened. I mean, the 60s were crazy because they were assassinating everybody. But then that died off, and it was sometime in the 80s, I don't know what year, that Reagan got shot, and that's it. But come on. This is crazy. This is crazy. He was on that roof for... He was... Okay, so 6/11 is when he actually shoots the president and kills that poor retired firefighter. Okay, 6/11. So all this stuff up until, there's no way they're not, well, they would probably love to search all our internet traffic and stuff, but they can't do it yet. Oh, they will. Oh God, they will. They'll have some oracle floating in a pool of, like floating in a, what is those things called? The tanks, the deprivation tanks. Yeah, like on that movie with Tom Cruise. She'll be like all these tubes hooked up to her head, and she'll just be floating. And then it'll be like, wait, I'm gonna cut that part out. He'll ruin me. They'll have the oracle floating and Lindsey Graham. Who should we kill next? Hurry up. I got to get back to Disneyland. All right. So 5:00, he's seen by law enforcement. And then he has a full hour and 11 minutes. He's finally confronted by a cop. Let's see, 6:02 to 6. So let's just say an hour later, he's finally actually challenged. And now, like I say, if you're a cop and you poke your head over a roof and some guy points a rifle at you, you better move your ass. He's like that's an unwinnable situation. All you can do is jump or duck or, hit your head while ducking so fast. Cause you're completely outgunned. And so at least he was up there. I mean, God, the Secret Service apparently were doing nothing. So he has a full hour. And you know what hang on. Here's what it reminds me of. Let's see, where are we? Okay, help me remember that. We're at 8 minutes and 21 seconds. Here's what it reminds me of. I just made this connection in real time. Okay, this is this guy. He's like a Caltech graduate. I'm assuming that's hard. That's a hard college. Okay, so he says, sorry, gonna rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. And this poor bastard, if he was still alive, Thomas Crooks, it would be like, right? He's like, right? I was up there for over an hour. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, so what I got, no damn security, not in transport, not the hotel, not in the event. And that's pretty much what happened in Butler. I mean, that's the third time. Now, the second time, it was some guy like either shot at him or tried to shoot at him at his golf course. I don't know much about that. They caught that guy. This just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. And look, this is, look, I know I'm fucking laughing at like the fact that how crazy this whole situation is, but this is terrible. Like if this was your son, this is just awful. I mean, like you would, God, I couldn't imagine. And here's the worst part. Okay, I obviously I've not studied this stuff, and I'm reading this kind of like as I go. But like, what did Joe Kent say? Right? It was something to the effect of there's a large pool of like candidates that intelligence agencies or other organizations can like recruit from. Oh God, that's just terrible. So if he's right, and if that really happened, then this poor guy, Thomas Crooks, was one of those candidates that had been radicalized that, I mean, what? I don't know. Like I was joking earlier about that amazing Denzel movie called The Manchurian Candidate, but like, I mean, that's basically what he's saying. I mean, like if you're recruiting someone, you know, yeah, they might be motivated, but you still like, any normal sane person, that's a huge leap. Like you basically, you know, it's a suicide mission. So this is just sad all the way around. I mean, God damn, I can't, I feel so bad for his family. I can't imagine. Claude did like a little thing about him. Nothing, no motive has ever been established. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like he was, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like he was allowed to be there. I don't know any other way you could put it. I mean, like, it's just awful. It's just, it's a fucking tragedy in any way you slice it. All right. Where was I? 8:21. All right, here we go. All right, Joe, take my mind off of Butler.
By the DHS and didn't get anything back from the FBI. We were told by the FBI that there was nothing in Thomas Crooks's digital devices, on his cell phone, computer, etc. And then Tucker Carlson's investigative journalist actually dug up Thomas Crooks's online profile. So there was obviously a lot more work that needed to be done in terms of Butler. Those questions still haven't been answered. The issues with the security perimeter still haven't been addressed, obviously, because West Palm Beach happened right after that. And then we had the other breaches of President Trump's security to include this one. So there's obviously a systemic issue, and these questions just simply aren't being answered. And again, if we don't look into this quickly, and if there isn't someone who steps in and says, why were these decisions being made? You rose a great point that I think most people were asking when they saw even the vice president and the president in the same spot, basically on the same stage, was who authorized all the cabinet, essentially, for the most part, literally, to be in this one location. And I don't think that was a conscientious decision made by President Trump or by the vice president. I think it just happened that way, but we should have people that are in charge that are looking at the security situation and the posture to make sure something like this doesn't happen.
Yeah, Joe, I was talking about it. You and I, we've all three of us have been to multiple high-level VIP style events where you have lots of members of the line of succession. You don't get several thousand yards in front of that building without different magnetic, you go through the metal detectors. There's multiple barricades. There's really layers of security. And if you're going to a DNC or RNC, you're walking a mile without even being able to drive up. And yet I'm looking at stories about.
No, he's completely right. Sorry. I'm sorry, Sagar. I cut you off.
People being able to take pictures of the beast. Again, the only time I've seen the beast is when I was in the motorcade as a member of the press.
Okay, the beast. The beast is the actual SUV that the president is in. There's like, okay, when they do the motorcade, it's like, don't look at the beast. You're not paid to look at the beast. You're paid to look somewhere else. Yeah, don't look at the beast. It's just a big, cool, SUV, and there's a bunch of them, so you don't know what's what. And then like the Secret Service has like these badass like Bearcats and stuff, and supposedly they have rocket launchers and shit. That's what he's talking about, the beast. I mean, they've got to have like the most amazing toys in there.
Never been able to take a picture of the beast just casually, even whenever I was cleared by Secret Service on the White House grounds, or whenever it was parked, let's say at one of Trump's properties, which he was accompanying on. The shakedown here, in terms of the level of security, is not even for a normal POTUS-style event, and yet you have like 80% of the line of succession. So this is obvious to you, it's obvious to me. Probably more important for you, you're the former National Counterterrorism Director. But help us square this. Trump is out here on 60 Minutes saying that Secret Service did a great job.
I told you, he doesn't want to talk about it. And Chuck's like, damn, that was close. I almost had my chance. I go from president pro temp to just president. Thank you very much.
He doesn't seem to be shaken. I'm going to take that as genuinely in terms of his public messaging. The Deputy Attorney General, the Acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, said this was not a security failure, it was a security success story. Why is it, top to bottom, every member of the admin is consistently defending the Secret Service when people like you and many others are like, hey, there are serious problems here?
I wish I knew the exact answer, but what I can point at from being in the administration is a culture that's almost zero fail, or this constant quest for good vibes and good news stories. They're
Oh God, I could use some good vibes, Joe. I'm depressed now thinking about Thomas Crooks. That's so fucking sad. Like what if they really did Manchurian Candidate him? He's just like could have just been this normal guy, and like just totally, I mean, like a young guy who probably maybe had some issues. What chance would he really have if an intelligence agency or other organization, probably with unlimited resources and stuff, like if they honed in on him, would he even have a chance to resist that? Would he just sort of like find himself up there like, what the fuck am I doing? Must. What did he do? Does it matter? Must kill the president. God, it's awful.
There's not a lot of tolerance right now in the administration for saying, hey, we're on the wrong course. Hey, there was a screw up here. We need to correct it, which I think is part of any healthy organization. We do after action reviews in the military. It's almost a religious requirement in the military.
Randy, I swear to God, if you point your gun at me one more time, I'm sorry. That's my version of a after action.
To do an after action review. And then in after action reviews, we're usually very critical and very hard on ourselves. That is not the culture coming from the White House, and that is a leadership issue. And I think that folks below President Trump, the chief of staff, deputy chiefs of staff, those levels, they could be looking much more critically at this. And look, the American people aren't dumb. You don't need to be a security expert or have done protective details before to understand that things went very wrong 2 nights ago, and that have gone wrong, in the past with Butler and all the other assassination attempts that we talked about. So I think just being honest with the American people would help in terms of credibility, but then they've got to break this culture within the White House.
Yeah, but look, if what he's saying is even remotely true, it's not about credibility. I mean, like, well, okay, I know that there's probably like a low chance that it's true. Maybe not a low chance, but if you just tease it out, what he's saying so far is it basically basically, like, you have intelligence agencies, which suggests like a country, a state like us, ours, or some other country's intelligence agency recruiting these people to attempt to take Trump's life in order to force him into a certain decision. Like, they're not really worried about credibility. They're worried about their goal, and that's it. And I mean, and think about this, like again, like I said earlier, like it's not probably likely to work, but it could work. So then what? I don't know. This is insane. Oh shit, I just hit the wrong button. Okay, I just backed this up to like 2 minutes in. I can't do this. Like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't say anything else. And they just say, "Thanks, Joe." He's like, "Thanks, Crystal and Sagar." Oh man, fucking insane. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Breaking Points. As you can see, I am both liked and subscribed. It's a really great channel. It really is. And, I had another video, but man, it's getting late. It's Breaking Points also. Ugh. Maybe that's my homework for the week, is to find a different YouTube channel to watch. There's like so much I didn't get to, though. I mean, we talked about, let me just check really quick and just make sure. This is me talking back and forth to Claude. I guess I pasted everything in. Claude searched the web. Claude became a right-wing, radicalized conservative. Okay, hang on. Tucker. The Tucker thing interests me because I do remember hearing something about that where they were like, yeah, we couldn't find anything on him online. And supposedly they searched his apartment and it looked like there was like no utensils and no dishes and stuff. I don't know. That's just stuff I heard. The Tucker's documentary. Oh shit. Worth watching before filming. I did not watch that. But honestly, I guarantee you this is behind a paywall. I don't want to accept the cookies. Join now, support real journalism. That just means that I'm going to have to pay. Become a member. Huh. Yeah. You know what? I'm just not into that. Like, I would have to cancel like Peacock or Hulu or something. I got a budget, Tucker. I'm not rich. Okay, well, I guess maybe I should have pirated it. Anyways, the digital footprint. Okay, I think honestly that's pretty much where we are. I think that's where we are. And tune in next week because I'm going to have an amazing show about, I have no idea what. God, I've been talking about Iran a lot. I guess I'm just seeing all the coverage. Oh, and you know what? Actually, I did a video, very different format, but my last video kind of sucked. The one before that was about the petrodollar, and you should probably check that out because actually now that was like several weeks ago. Actually, now the petrodollar is really like becoming a thing, and people are talking about it. And I'm just like, that's old news, guys. I covered that, like weeks ago, and I'm over it now. But you can still go check it out. And if you made it this far, then there's something seriously wrong with you. Take care of yourself, and I will see you again next week.